lights now go on the light boats. Here's the B main, and here are the two headlines. You got 7 boats that are hopefully going to start this race, but only 4 will make it to the final. That's what this race is all about. It's the lights, B main. Here is your Muckleshoot lineup for this B main. Power Punch, Miss Hyundai, Vestige Foreclosure, Bison Creek, U.S. Army, King and Bunnies, and Prilosec OTC. And as we said again, 4 will make the final. As we're looking at 2 minutes before the start, boats spread out all over the course here on Lake Washington. But the sky is lifting. Good time to race. About 2 miles an hour, the wind speed. And we turn things over now to the voice of Unlimited Lights, John Lynch.
Thank you, Steve. We're up at 1:45 right now. That is the score-up time. Now what the teams are going to do is move around the course. They set their lanes at that start-finish line right there. So 3 of them have crossed. The rest are coming up. They'll all be a legal score-up, but they set their lanes there and then come around to the start. Remember, the supercharged boats are outside the non-supercharged.
But when you say they set their lanes, you don't mean set by the officials. You mean they earned those lanes.
By the drivers, exactly. So we have right now who has come up, Rod Bork, who always likes to be on the inside. You're looking there at Austin Ekrit. He is a rookie. He will be starting 5 seconds behind the clock, but that's behind the clock, not behind the line. If the line's late, that's their problem, not Austin's.
John, you and I both know the best driver doesn't always win the race. Sometimes he has the best equipment. I tell you what, earlier in this weekend, I saw great starts, like always, from Vince Sidaro and from Rod Bork.
Yes.
Those two guys have really driven well all
and
weekend.
They have, and you know, Rod Bork has got absolutely the smallest boat out there. It's 1 inch longer than the minimum length of 20 feet. He's the only guy with a Ford engine out there, yet they make it happen with that Vestige Foreclosure group. He is in his position. He likes to be on the inside. Vince Sidaro likes to be on the inside. Their lanes 1 and 2. Kelly Stockland likes to start on the outside, but he has to in that UL40 King and Bunnies because he's one of the supercharged boats here. Now we're down to 18 seconds to go until the start.
What do you have to do? You want to be one of the top 4 to make it into the final.
And you'd like to be top 3 because the 4th boat would be that trailer. And here they come down to the start. Somebody's just a wee bit early, and that is Kelly. He's backing off. Stockland looks like they're going to be on time. They are, but they're going with the lead is Vince Sidaro in that all black all the time Hyundai Assurance. Austin Ekrit was up front on the front line. I was told he had to start 5 seconds back. He is not. We see Kelly Stockland having difficulty. Chris Grant is behind. And Kevin Ekrit, he's running very slowly. He's going back to the pit area. So that changes things from the beginning. Vince Sidaro with the lead. That's where he wants to be. Just make it a nice, easy run.
John, from a pretty start standpoint, that was a really ugly start. You had boats scattered all over the place.
It happens. It happens. Remember, this is a different kind of a start than they normally do, starting from the unlimited course and coming down to the start. And these drivers just don't have a lot of time to practice that method. We also see Austin Ekrit is cutting across the infield.
Now, what is this going to mean much for? Is that legal to come straight across the course when you've got boats racing coming straight down the...
Well, that's going to be an interesting call on the officials. I would say absolutely not, but he's brought it back to the pit area regardless. Either way, Kelly Stockland has gone to the infield too. Here is Vince Sidaro at the end of his lap number 1. And then Chris Grant is operating. And right now it looks like that is it. We lost Rod Bork. He was going to be... starter on the inside, and I don't see Rod out there. There's any of the camera to pick him up.
It looks to me that there is one boat, unless they if they stop this heat for some reason. Because right now there is only one boat on the race course running its speed. So there it is, the black flag. So there was some kind of a problem that they stopped the heat.
Okay.
And maybe John can get in touch with the light officials and we can find out what's happened here.
I'm trying to monitor the radio, but it's not going very well.
Pretty hard for John. Our own John Lynch here is calling the race in one ear, and in the other ear he's listening to the officials. And sometimes we're left a little bit in the dark here on the tower because we don't have direct communication with the officials. So another thing that's happening right now is you still have about Vince Sodaro going around the race course, but there's a black flag. So he's going to get a lecture for not obeying that black flag and coming into the course.
He's going to be in trouble if he doesn't get off the course.
Right, Mike, what are you hearing out there?
Well, they black flagged it even before Zadaro finished his first lap here, and I'm looking for the Power Punch Kevin Ekrit's boat, because I think that may have something to do with what's going on here. Didn't see it come across the line. Everybody else got back out there.
Well, Kevin Ekrit actually brought the Power Punch back to the pit area quickly. He's already on a sling. They're lifting it out of the water. He crossed the start line and turned immediately to the pits, but he was the last one over the line.
I think I just heard over the PA something about Joe Souza and maybe still being in harm's way. I saw a boat die down here in the south turn, and it's just stayed there.
That is Souza.
Kind of just drifted out there. And I think that might have been part of the concern.
There was a boat in the far outside lane. There's actually an outside perimeter to this race course, believe it or not. It's not just the beach. There are white buoys that go around this whole race course, and the boats cannot go outside of those.
Right, he's just south of one of those right now is Joe Souza.
And he seemed far out of the way to me, but I can understand an official saying, hey, let's be safe and maybe bring him in just in case somebody got together with a dead boat.
He never actually got out onto the course. His engine quit just after he left the pits. He was sitting there during the whole warm-up period, but I guess he is in harm's way.
But just understanding that the boat was there inside the outer course markers, as Chip was talking about, with a 7-wide start, that would be the reason they would flag it off, and I haven't heard anything different yet.
So now, John, what happens at this point? Everybody's come back to the pits, and we see Vince Sodaro now coming back as well. Joe Souza's going to climb out of his capsule down there at the south end. Obviously, they all come back, they refuel, they go. They're going to take this back out again, and those boats that can start will start.
Right, and if the reason for stoppage of the heat was because of Joe Souza being where he is out on the race course, then he would not be eligible to make the restart.